and what you guys are trying to do. I've never seen anything quite like that. So, just simple, what is Subterrane all about? And how you, Mr. Andrew, is associated with the entire journey, entire procedure?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Subterrane has been born out of a career spent pondering and in great detail about what exactly it is that we do with geology in terms of exploring for resources and so on. And it's really a lifetime story that has developed over the decades with an inquisitive mind that always questioned the validity of having interpretation as some sort of subjective exercise. So when I started studying geology, I was always aware that there should really be a better answer because I came from a more of a mathematical background. And over the last decade, I believe that I've unraveled the mathematical answers more than partially to a point where rather than talking about creating some type of unconventional new interpretation of how our Earth structural processes operate, we can actually get to the point where we can say there's one solution. And I talk about the one solution quite a lot because it's the only one unique solution in terms of understanding how our Earth works. And I, I I've always said that in order to understand how the Earth's processes operate, we need more data. We don't need more data to change what we're mapping. We need more data to bring it into higher resolution, which is a key difference between the way things are done conventionally in terms of exploring for resources and how I am trying to change that with the Subterrane mission.
All right, thank you so much for that, kind of detailed intro and also bringing along your background and working experience with how you started in the journey, first of all. And that brings me to my second question after understanding what exactly it is all about. Uh, you said a very particular keyword, which is your mission. Hence, it brings me to what is exactly Subterrane's vision and mission statements in the longer run?
Yes, that's a good question. The original mission was set up in 2018 because I realized that in order to bring the world into high definition, effectively there wasn't any sufficient willpower to go and seek the solution which we require, so that once we understand how our Earth and its processes operate under the realm of the one unique solution, then we will be better prepared for the future in order to search for these resources off the planet as well. So the reason why I incorporated Subterrane was with this very clear mission to unravel Earth structure like it has never been unraveled before. And it has brought me into a situation where the mission will be realized through creating viable industry opportunities from one sector to another. And we're going to start with what I have described as the diamond opportunity, which is the present opportunity that I have spent pretty much the best part of the last year, almost to the day when I was introduced to Vidya from Marquee Equity. It's almost been to the day that we've been working together on promoting and marketing the diamond opportunity in the mining sector.
Mr. Andrew, how big do you think is the mining sector currently, and how big do you think it is going to be in the next few decades coming up when there's technology like, AI, and the world is moving forward? It's constant and constant development and reprogression, and things are being burnt down, things are being brought down to level and then reconstructed once again to maybe make this reality a futuristic one. How exactly Subterranean is going to be part of the world that we are going to see in the next few decades? How you're going to contribute towards that?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Ashwath. The way that I see this unraveling over the next few decades is that, yes, today we have what I would describe as some very powerful enabling technologies. And we mentioned there artificial intelligence. AI is highly predeterminate on its success based on what you're putting in to the process, and then that will govern what we're getting out of the process. So the input is very important to the quality of the output. It's not really a hard concept to grasp. And in fact, AI has been around for the best part of two and a half decades already in development, in terms of the machine learning technologies that exist out there. I envisage using artificial intelligence to improve the solution that I'm going to create. And the only way that I can create that solution is by using these industry solutions, which we're going to develop. This first one being the diamond opportunity. Because as we know, diamonds that were formed many millions of years ago have their source, their creation, deep within our Earth, in an area, in a zone that we call the mantle, which occupies a position between the surface of our Earth and the core of the Earth. And it's very little understood. This is what I'm talking about, to bring this into high definition so that we can then go on and solve the greater issues and problems in terms of the responsible, sustainable solutions that we must build for tomorrow.
I think that sounds absolutely fantastic. And it covers not only the business part of the things, the business aspects of the things, the developmental aspects of the things, but also at the same time, we are keeping together and pushing towards the moral responsibilities that we have towards this planet Earth. And I think that speaks exactly about your vision and mission statements. Now, Mr. Andrew, let's get more into Subterrane. Can you please tell me about your organizational structure? What is the team like? What is the team members like? And how does it operate on a day-to-day basis? What is your customer base or your user base, or if you directly deal B2B, or industry specifications, if you have any that you're directly connected with in your organization or big corporate giants that you're currently working or associated with, and how unique is your idea, and is there any competitor in the market, and at the same time, what do you intend to do with the fundamentals that you just expressed about?
Yeah, so I've got quite a lot to answer there. So for the last decade, to get to this point where I really talk about a universal language, this is what I want to plug in to artificial intelligence technology in order to yield the best output. So we talk about the competitors and the marketplace out there. Well, I've been effectively operating in the diamond sector for the last 4 or 5 years, building the solution, or what will be the first of many solutions, I hope. And what we're going to do, we're going to bring in a team of developers eventually, once we've done some mining, and we'll bring in some developers to code up the solution, which I call the One Earth solution. And One Earth will come up with the first solution for the diamond sector, and we want to build this solution for the major players. So first of all, we will demonstrate that we can produce these beautiful, large, natural diamond stones in a wholly responsible, sustainable fashion, efficiently, and paying the utmost respect to the local ecosystem in which they are found. And then we will set about building the technology solution, which I envisage to be sub-licensed under agreement to the major players such as De Beers and the Alrozas of this world. Going forward, I would then like to tackle the energy solution, because I don't foresee that today's current solutions for the energy market are truly sustainable. It is better really to consider geothermal energy as a more sustainable solution, and I hope to build out that with the existing players in the market once we've gone beyond the diamond project. In terms of the direct competition, well, if we consider the methods which are employed today, they're entirely conventional. They've been around for, well, based on theories that go back several centuries indeed, in terms of the maths and the theory which underlies the efforts of exploration today. And so we wanted to change that for a better solution, the one unique solution. And in terms of the competitive marketplace, without sounding too arrogant, there can only be one solution. So there isn't really any competition. However, that doesn't mean to say that I don't wish to collaborate and work with existing players in these industry sectors. It will be a process whereby through building partnerships, we can change and disrupt the industry sectors for the better.
Mr. Andrew, honestly, I believe there couldn't have been a much better answer for this lengthy question rather that I asked you that contained three questions within itself, which at the same time showed your entrepreneur spirit, the business dynamics, and your experience and the long drawn homework that you have done for all these years, and at the same time being humble and yet upfront about you being the only market player in the industry, and at the same time being gracious to collaborate with other fellows that eventually end up being part of this vertical. So I think that's very well answered, and one of the major highlights of our interviews, I believe, so where we get to know so much about you. While I was going through your website, one of the things intrigued me, and that was about the earthquake studies. It got me curious, and then I went into it, and it had some kind of maps driven with some kind of peak lines. Can you tell me something about the executed projects that you have done till now, and what exactly earthquake studies, help you, or rather, is a part of this business, or rather, the part with Subterrane?
Yeah, so the subterrane strategy and the revenue model have changed and gone through several incremental changes over the years since I founded Subterrane in 2018. And I started off exhibiting to the oil industry at professional conferences, trying to market digital products, which would help them to understand this new code that I have been putting into place over the many years. And that didn't really get too far. At the same time, I was also looking at the applications of this new system, this new structural system, which was still in progress back in 2018. And I realized that our understanding as to what generates surface process in terms of not just natural hazards like earthquakes and volcanoes and subduction zones and so on, was not as well understood as it could be. And again, it comes back to this question surrounding data. Given the wealth of data out there, I have to say this, that still, given the wealth of the data out there, we still don't have the right type of data to get the better solution, the unique solution. And I looked at earthquakes across the Earth's surface, and when I look at these, I understand that when we look at the structure, we can see how that structure has evolved over time. And also, more than potentially, we can see how that structure will develop in the future. And this is the key thing. In order to understand the whole process better, we need to bring it into higher resolution. The only way to get the higher resolution is to acquire the right type of data, which brings me back to the whole point of incorporating Subterrane 6 years ago in 2018. And I realized that, okay, so we're going to, at the time I just signed up with a commercial partnership with a listed company on the stock exchange here in London. And I had just embarked on that partnership to explore for diamonds. And so the revenue model changed from a revenue stream of trying to sell products to a revenue stream of licensing out technology, not explicitly licensing out, but strategically licensing it for use in an agreement so that we could produce some diamonds and show the effectiveness of the technology in order to build new solutions in the future and to potentially fund some of the groundwork required in order to get the type of data that we need to understand not just the surface processes in terms of hazard mitigation, but also the beneath the surface processes. But we conventionally call the structure of the Earth made up of the core and mantle boundaries, these geophysical boundaries, which have been defined over the decades. And so still I remain here, and all of these revenue models over time were failed to generate what it was required in order to move forward. So fortunately for me, I was introduced to Marquee Equity, as I say, back there in 2023, almost to the day a year ago. And I realized that going to seek capital fundraising would really only be the causative and the generative solution to developing the revenues that we need by putting the opportunity there on the table for investors.
Very well said. Truly understood. And I think geology, indeed, as you said, above the surface, beneath the surface. And I think this is something really truly unique that I have had the opportunity first of all to interview a guest from this vertical and to get an understanding of what this business stands out like. When you said that the business model has been changed from being actually a deliverable of product service to rather now being being able to provide solutions so that people are able to mine diamonds. And never heard something like that. I think I have had a great conversation with you. I believe that I asked you the right questions and you were able to express yourself fully with respect to your business operations as well as your brand identity.
Yes, it's just this is a new episode in the journey, and as I say, working with Marquee Equity over the last year has brought so much in terms of the collaboration efforts required, because coming from the space where I am and coming from the financial world that Marquee Equity service so professionally, it has brought quite a lot of discussion to the table in terms of defining what we want to do in the mining space and how we can quantify that in terms of an opportunity.
Yeah, how you can capitalize on that. Okay,
Yes.
Mr. So please tell me, how happy are you or were you with the pitch decks or with the financial models or the documents that were being built, that were rather built by Marquee Equity, and how has your interactions been with the investors that you were able to connect with till now in the span of this last months, 12 months?
Well, it's we've been at this, we've been marketing this together for just a few months, and it has brought a wide variety of response from a wide variety of investors, private investors, family offices, the fund managers out there, and it's certainly been worthwhile because they're asking all the right type of questions, which, to be honest, sometimes have made me think, okay, so how are we going to get around this? And where we stand currently with the pitch deck and the forecast, the feedback has been exceptional. The forecast that I've put together has received very good feedback and praise from the experienced professionals out there working in the finance space. Some of the CFOs have praised it immensely in terms of the thoroughness of the forecasting, and the pitch deck obviously is a living document, and we've changed that a few times already. But I think we're getting to where we need to be in terms of putting the focus on these opportunities. And as I say, once we've tackled the mining sector, then we'll be looking to go into the energy sector. And I'm looking forward to building that opportunity with Marquee Equity in the future. It can't come round soon enough because there's so many good things that we can do with the IP portfolio that Subterrane have built up over these years to put out there in these different marketplaces to change industry sectors in a entirely beneficial fashion.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I think this has been quite a conversation, and I had an absolute pleasure in hosting you. And I hope that the questions did justice to this interview, and I hope you enjoyed this conversation.
Yes, thank you very much, Raj, and I appreciate the time in being able to explain a little bit more about Subterrane and the journey that we have embarked on.
The pleasure is all ours, sir. The Marquee Equity team Well, let it be the documentation team or let it be me and Ashwat as the video team. We are there with you. Whatever you require, whenever you require, with respect to any revisions, any changes, or any new idea in your mind, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll make sure that we'll have it executed. We'll have your vision turn into reality. And right away after this interview is done and we end the meeting, whenever you're ready, please send us the Google Meet this recording of it and we'll have it edited in our in-house. And whatever we are seeing right now on the screen, it's going to be much beautiful and it's going to be much finely produced with all the visuals and your pitch text and the information that we have been able to cover through your website. So I think it's going to be by far and far a very good video output.
Yes, and if it isn't, then we can treat this as a dress rehearsal and we'll have another crack at it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you want to do it once again, I'm all yours. No issues at all. But I think this is perfect. You were great. You were awesome.
Okay. Okay,
All
Raj.
right.
Thank you for your time, and
Thank
I'll
you,
get this sent.
thank you, Mr. Andrew.